Hello everybody, I'm here with your SPAG lesson, spelling, punctuation and grammar for Wednesday the 24th of February. So it's Wednesday the 24th of February 2021 today, and we are learning to use possessive apostrophes for singular possessive regular nouns. Please could you, in your neatest handwriting joined up, write your long date and your WALT and underline it with a ruler. Pause the video while you do this, please. Okay, so we are going to learn all about apostrophes today, and these are your steps to success. If you can do these things by the end of the lesson, then you will have achieved your learning objective. I know what an apostrophe is. I can explain the purpose of a possessive apostrophe, and I can correctly place possessive apostrophes. Before we get started, we're going to have a little warm-up game today, just to get us in the mood for some learning. So let me share it with you. We've got Elijah back for another starter game.
Hello,
We're going to play
Elijah Says.
Okay, we're going to play Elijah Says, everybody. It's a bit like Simon Says, but Elijah's going to tell you what to do. So, let's get started.
Put your finger on your nose.
Or hopefully you didn't do that, everybody, because we didn't say Elijah Says.
Elijah Says, put your finger on your nose.
Right, there we are. Hopefully they've got their finger on their nose now, Elijah.
Yeah. Elijah Says, stick your tongue out.
Stick your tongue out. Okay, lovely.
Elijah Says, pat your head. Elijah Says, rub your tummy. Elijah Says, clap your hands. Scratch your nose.
Or how many of you did he catch out?
Elijah Says, blink your eyes.
Blink your eyes.
Elijah Says, jump up and down.
Jump up and down.
Wiggle your fingers.
Wiggle your fingers.
And I'll catch you out.
Did he catch you out?
Yeah.
You think he did? Are you going to say well done, everybody?
Well done, everybody.
Give them a big clap. Right, I hope you enjoyed Elijah's game. Okay, I hope that warmed you up, ready for a bit of learning. Got your brain going in the morning. Right, let's have a look. So first thing I want you to think about, please, year 4, is what is an apostrophe? Once you've decided what an apostrophe is, I want you to think, what is it not? So pause the video and have a little think. Okay, hopefully you've managed to think about what an apostrophe is, and you've realised it's one of those punctuation marks that looks like that. It looks a bit like a comma. But it's not a comma. Okay, it goes at the top of a letter, whereas a comma would go at the bottom of a letter on the line. So an apostrophe is the same shape as a comma, but placed above the line. Apostrophes show two things. They show that one thing belongs to or is connected to something else, and this is called a possessive apostrophe, and this is what we're going to learn about today. The other thing that we can use apostrophes for is contraction. It's where some letters of a word have been left out to shorten a word. For example, can't and don't. What is can't short for? Cannot, isn't it? And what about don't? Don't is short for do not. So we put an apostrophe in to show that we have got a missing letter. Look, the O should go there. Can, well, 2 letters. Cannot. And the O should go there for do not. But in this lesson, we're going to explore the first use of apostrophes, possessive apostrophes. Apostrophes show that something belongs to someone else. When something belongs to someone, it is called possession. So I have a phone here. I possess this phone. It belongs to me. I have a little packet of Smarties. I possess these Smarties. When we are talking about one thing, we call it singular. So a single thing is singular. I've got one pen, that's singular. If I had more than one pen, pretend that this is a pen, and I've got 2 pens, that's plural. Okay, but we're looking at singular today because plural possessive apostrophes follow different rules, and you will learn about those in year 5. So a man, one man, or a bike, one bike, that's a singular thing, a single thing. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And when we put a possessive apostrophe on a single thing, we add an apostrophe S onto the end of the name that the thing belongs to. So the man's bike. We can also use an apostrophe and add an S to show that something belongs to a proper noun. So a name that begins with a capital letter. For example, India's national flag has 3 horizontal stripes on it. Okay, so India is a proper noun. Sometimes you will come across a noun that has got more than one word. For example, Buckingham Palace. What you do when you come across one of those, you add your apostrophe S onto the end of the last word. So Buckingham Palace's gates are painted gold and black. You can see you've got an apostrophe S on the end of palaces. On the end of palace, sorry. Oops. Okay. 2 little warnings for you. If you remember these warnings, then you will be absolutely fine with possessive apostrophes. Never use an apostrophe if you have already used a possessive pronoun. Now, a possessive pronoun are words like his, her, its, theirs. Okay? If you've got one of those, you don't need a possessive apostrophe. So, Dave had a rabbit and its fur was white. You would only need it if it said Dave's rabbit's fur was white. Okay? Or if you said Sarah's drink or David's book, you would then need a possessive apostrophe. The only time when it's has an apostrophe, if you look at the word it's down here, the only time you use an apostrophe in that word, ever, is when you have a contraction for it is or it has. You never use an apostrophe in the word it's if you're trying to show possession. Okay, just for contraction. It's a really, really common mistake that children make all the way through school. Okay, so try and remember that one. Let's have a look at some examples then. So, Catherine's house is old and large. The house belongs to Catherine. So we're putting an apostrophe S on the end of Catherine. Catherine's house is old and large. The cat's eyes are different colours. Ooh, what's the thing that belongs to something or someone else? It's eyes, isn't it? The eyes belong to the cat. So we've got an apostrophe S on cat. The cat's eyes. Okay, St. Paul's Cathedral is in central London. Oh, what's the thing that belongs to someone else? The cathedral belongs to St. Paul. St. Paul's, apostrophe S, cathedral is in central London. Oh, this one's a bit trickier because a sport doesn't feel like a thing, does it? It's not something you can pick up and touch, okay? But it's a noun. So Rachel's favourite sport is our noun, is running. The sport is Rachel's. It's her favourite sport. So we've got apostrophe S on the end of Rachel. The forest light is always changing. Okay, the light belongs to the forest. So we've got our apostrophe S on the end of forest. This one's a bit trickier. The Statue of Liberty is probably one of America's most famous landmarks. The landmark belongs to America. It's America's landmarks. So we've got apostrophe S on the end of America. You need to help me now work out where our apostrophes go. Aldrich's computer shut down for the night. What's the thing that belongs to somebody? Have a think. It's the computer, isn't it? The computer belongs to Aldrich. So we need an apostrophe S on Aldrich to show it belongs to him. I've already put the S on, so we're going to put the apostrophe in front of the S. Aldrich's computer shut down for the night. Let's look at the next one. The green shirt was Tia's favourite. What's the thing that belongs to someone? If you're at school, you could maybe tell Mrs. Chamberlain. If you're at home, you might have someone you can tell. What's the thing that belongs to someone, year 4? It's the green shirt, isn't it? And who does it belong to? It belongs to Tia. I've already put the S on, so I'm just going to put my apostrophe in front of the S. The green shirt was Tia's favourite. Okay, Mrs. Cross cat is called Bubble. Oh, this sentence is in a bit more of a mess, isn't it? What's the thing that belongs to somebody? It's the cat, isn't it? And who does it belong to? It belongs to me, Mrs. Cross. Mrs. Cross. I've already got 2 S's on the end of my name. I wonder what I do here. Don't you think I could just split my name up with an apostrophe? No, you can't do that. You must keep the noun the same. You add the extra S on the end of the noun, whatever the noun is. So, Mrs. Cross apostrophe S. Mrs. Cross's cat is called Bubble. I know that looks really weird because you've got 3 S's, but that is correct. Right, the next one, the football belonged to Marco. Do you think it's the football belonged to Marco's, like that? Is that how you would say it? It's not, is it? Because we are not saying Marco's football, we don't need an apostrophe S. If we said Marco's football, like this, Marco's football, then we do need that apostrophe S. I hope that makes sense. Okay, it's your turn now. You need to write 2 sentences of your own that contain a possessive apostrophe. If you're a bit stuck for ideas, you are welcome to use my pictures, but do remember we are focusing on singular nouns. So you can't talk about both the boys. You can't say the boys, plural, we're having fun. We're not looking at plurals today. So you might talk about the girl, you might talk about that girl, you might talk about this particular boy or this particular boy. You also can't talk about the fish, there's too many of them. We're looking at singular nouns today. So, write 2 sentences which contain a possessive apostrophe. Pause the video and have a go, please. Okay, let's see what I did. I decided to do the boy's top was orange. I'm talking about this boy over here. The boy's top was orange. The top belongs to the boy. The girl's car was red. The car belongs to the girl. I've got a possessive apostrophe on girl. The boy's hands were hurting. I'm talking about this one again. The hands belong to the boy, so I've got my apostrophe S on the end of boy. And the girl's lamp shone brightly. I'm talking about this girl down the bottom now. The lamp belongs to the girl, so I've got an apostrophe S on the word girl. Okay, Emmett has had a go now, and he has tried using possessive apostrophes. Is his work correct? Pause your video and have a look, see what you think. Oh dear, I think Emmett's actually made quite a lot of mistakes, hasn't he? Let's get the editing pen and help him. Mrs. Pluse's bag is green. Now, when you first look at it, you think that's correct, don't you? But when you really think about it, it's not correct, is it? How do I write Mrs. Pluse? It's P-L-E-W-S, isn't it? She's already got an S on the end of her name. So her name is not Mrs. Plue. So what Emmett should have done, he should have written, let's actually choose this tool, Mrs. Plue's, like that. and added an apostrophe S after the S. That's correct now. Mrs. Clues's bag is green. It looks weird, but it is correct. Mrs. Barnes's opened Mrs. Blanche's door. Is that right? No, the door belongs to Mrs. Blanche, not Mrs. Barnes. So we need to take the apostrophe S off Mrs. Barnes and we need to add it on to Mrs. Blanche. I've already got the S, so I'm going to put my apostrophe in there. Mrs. Barnes opened Mrs. Blanche's door. That's now correct. The cat licked its paws. Oh, has anyone spotted that mistake that lots and lots of children make? You never use an apostrophe in its unless it's got a missing letter, unless it's a contraction. It's not short for it is, and it's not short for it has, so it doesn't need an apostrophe. The cat licked its paws. That's now correct. Rain flooded the school's grounds. The grounds belong to the school, and Emmett has put an apostrophe S onto school. He's got that one right. Well done. Good job, Emmett. Okay, it's now your turn, Year 4. So you have got these sentences on your daily plan. So if you've got a printer, you are welcome to print it out. If you haven't got a printer, then you can just write down for me the sentence that you think is correct. You don't have to write them all out. You can just write out the correct sentences, and then you can rewrite these sentences in your books. So take the sentence you think is correct, rewrite the sentences with the apostrophe in the correct place. So the apostrophes are in the wrong place in these two sentences here. And then your Go Deeper says, write answers to these questions using a singular or proper noun with an apostrophe. One has been done for you. Whose hobby is playing football? So you could say Peter's hobby is playing football, or Mario's hobby is playing football, or Victor's hobby is playing football. Okay. Which country's weather can be wet and cold? You could say France's weather can be wet and cold, or Germany's weather can be wet and cold. Okay, it's up to you what you write, as long as you correctly punctuate it. I hope that makes sense. Pause the video, please, and have a go at that work. Then come back to me. Good luck. Okay, I'm going to show you your answers. The correct answer is the third one here. The bike's brakes. The brakes belong to the bike. The bike's brakes were very squeaky. Miss Fowler's boots are red. The top one is the correct one. Her name is Miss Fowler, and we've added an apostrophe S to show that her boots are red. Jimmy's pizzas are the tastiest. The top one was the correct one. The pizzas belong to Jimmy. So we put an apostrophe S onto the end of his name. The cat played with its mouse. We don't need an apostrophe because it's not a contraction. Let's look at the next section. The shoe's sole had been eaten by mice. You need an apostrophe S on the end of the word shoe. In 2020, it was Japan's turn to host the Olympics. Whose turn was it? It was Japan's turn. So we put the apostrophe S on the end of Japan. For Go Deeper, you will probably have something along these lines. So I put, Orla's hobby is playing football, and Norway's weather can be wet and cold. The hobby belongs to Orla, so I've got an apostrophe S on the end, and the weather belongs to Norway, so I've got an apostrophe S on the end of Norway. Okay, could you please draw me a learning pit, Year 4, just to show me how you feel about apostrophes? They can be tricky. Don't worry if you found it difficult. It's something that you will work on over the next few years so you can really, really get it right. Perhaps you could also write one word next to your learning pit to show me how you feel. You might write confident or struggling or nearly there. Okay, you choose a word that you think shows how you feel. Well done. Really, really good work today. I will see you soon. Bye.